Hello, and I am going to be doing a example of AHP priorities today. So AHP is Analytical Hierarchy Process, and I found this tool online that will hopefully help me explain sort of how this works. So you need to come up with your criteria of what. In this case, the example I've decided to use is jobs. Like, what kind of job does if someone would want? And so there's 7 different criteria. The criteria are like the median income of the job, how close it is, um, the actual ability to perform that job, the interest in that job, the job security of that job, and how much recognition you would get from that job, and the feeling of community or home that that job would provide. And so how this works is a pairwise comparison where you essentially say, this is more important than this. So for example, median income and closeness. Which is more important? The median income. Median income or ability? Ability. Interest. And there's also the amount of how much more important is that. So for example, median income versus closeness, it's not too much more important. So I would say a 2. Ability, median income versus ability, on the other hand, the ability is probably notably more important. And you sort of continue on with this process of this or this, and then by how much more, which I will cut to now. We're back. So now the resulting priorities. Now, because it's a subjective thing of like asking, what's more important to you? How at home you feel or how close the job is, blah blah blah. There's a few that it has to adjust. So it adjusted some on its own, but that's okay. So the priorities, it seems that this priority goes how interested you are in the job, how at home you feel at the job, your ability to do your job, how much recognition you receive from the job, how close to where you currently are with the job, your median income, and then your job security. And then it also produces a decision matrix. So this is essentially all ratios of how these two things compare. So for example, the reason that these are all 1s is because criteria 1, which is median income, is the same as criteria 1 income. But when compared to, when median income is compared to recognition, you will see that it is seen as less important. And then coming out into this, you then end up with these. So you get the number of comparisons, and then when you take those numbers, you can then run them through essentially to decide based on the criteria that you then give to your potential jobs in this scenario. So next up, what you do is you take the criteria, or the sub-criteria, I should say, of these. So next up, what you do is you do the same thing essentially again. However, this time you do it for your sub-criteria. So in this case, we would be using our income medians. So our income medians of our 5 options. And then how much do you want that? So for 1, we've got $36,000 a year. Next, we've got $59.23 a year, $40,000 a year, 69, 169, and 76,040. And then we go through and we do that same pairwise comparison process again. I've gone through all of these things and I have set up like different criteria and how they would stack up. And then I've gone through on the pairwise comparison. I've turned those into percentages, and then these have turned into the final weights when compared to the weight of the actual criteria versus the subcriteria. So, coming down to it, it then just becomes a matter of category has the highest percentage. Well, no, that's just straight up and down not correct. Sorry about that. There we go. So, when given these jobs, rated in a certain way, rated by these criteria, which have then been put back through their own pairwise comparisons, the best decision seems to be the Game Lounge, because it has the highest percentage of all of them. I hope that was a helpful explanation of what analytical hierarchy processes are, and we'll get back to class now.